present times, it is very common to see people distracting themselves either physically or mentally. And the result is the increase in the number of suicides, murder, people taking drugs and alcohol, people slipping into depression. So what is the core reason for all this? The core reason for all this is people do not know to cope up with the failure. Continuous thought about their failure haunt them, and they do not know to tackle their negative thoughts, and they go the wrong way. They either decide to end their life, and they either take drugs or alcohol, and they commit suicide, and there are so many other problems they face. Continuous thought about failure, the result of the failure, like the continuous thought about failure gives a fear, and the consequences of the failure, like criticism, ill treatment, sarcasm, all this continue to haunt them. So they do not know to cope up with that failure, and so these negative thoughts continuously haunt them, and they take this wrong decision. The main psychology behind these suicides or committing suicide is, what they think is, if they distract their physical body, then their thoughts will not haunt them. The thoughts will, that will be the end of that thought, and so they can be free. But this is wrong. What Bhagavad Gita says is, death or committing suicide is only the destruction of the physical body, but the mind is very much intact. Along with the soul, that is the jiva, this mind will take the next birth. The prominent thought in this life, or the prominent thought at the end of the life, that continues to haunt us, that continues to be with us, and according to that prominent thought, we will take the next birth. Our physical body is formed according to the impressions in the mind, and our thoughts, our actions in this birth is only according to the past impressions in our mind. So when we have the thought of misery or worry in us, and if we pass on to the next life, these thoughts continue to give influence us, and we perform action and we attract situation according to that. So by ending the physical body is not the solution to curtail the negative thoughts. The negative thoughts must be addressed in their own way. We must take it as a fact, as a happening, and then deal with it accordingly. It is very good to analyze failure, because only then we know what mistakes we have done. And analyzing failure is very good, provided it must give us upliftment. It must give us better effort and better result. If not, we must know the way to deal with the negative situations or the negative thoughts. Many people go for drugs or alcohol to curtail their thoughts of negative thoughts. This is also not the right way. By taking drugs or alcohol, what happens is it affects the cells in our brain and make it numb, so that the brain will not receive signals from the mind, and it will be for only temporarily. It will not receive the signals of the mind. After some time, again the brain will become active, and it will start to receive signals from the mind, and again the same negative thoughts or the same thoughts of worry and misery continue to haunt us. By time, these brain cells will be damaged, and that's the end of life also. So the negative thoughts must be dealt in their own way. Spirituality also helps in this way, but that mind must have practiced the spirituality prior itself. At the time of failure, if you practice spirituality like practicing meditation or practicing yoga, it will not help. Because to practice meditation, you need the calmness of mind. So a spiritually trained mind, any negative thoughts will not affect so easily the spiritually trained mind. But they must have practiced the spirituality prior itself. At the time of failure, if they practice spirituality, it will not help much. So they must take it as a fact, they must take it as a happening and deal with failure. And moreover, when people, when they do not get what they decide, they consider it as failure, and they themselves assume themselves as a failure, as an unworthy person, as an inefficient person, untalented person, and all these assumptions they have. This is not true. A person is Atma, which is infinite. And if we attach tags to it without understanding the reality, then we are not respecting the life. So just like success, failure cannot be avoided. But there are so many ways to overcome failure. The best way to deal with failure is take it as a fact, take it as a happening, and move from it. It's only worth that much. There is no need to end life, or no need to destroy our life, or no need to slip into depression by continuously thinking about these negative thoughts. It's not worth that. Thank you for watching.